So, you hear a lot about fat loss. This is good for fat loss. This burns a lot of fat. And the truth of the matter is the difference between fat burning and fat loss. And you go back, and there's a video that we've done about this previously, but I want to go into a little bit more detail about this. Fat loss or fat gain is determined by the balance of fat storage compared to fat burning. So fat being put onto the body and fat being utilized as fuel source. There's a balance here. Your body is always doing both. It's always burning fat and it's always storing fat at different parts of your body at different rates. And the end part of that equation is what ends up happening. So whether you gain or lose is the difference between the two, the accumulated difference between the two. And it's about relative rates. And sometimes you can find ways to tip the balance in the favor of what you want. And it's probably safe to say that most people are trying to tip that balance into fat loss. You want to find this equation, which is fat storage minus fat burning, and you have an end result. The end result is positive or negative, adding or subtracting from your body. So you want to minimize fat storage or influence that in some way. You want to maximize fat burning so that it's the most negative at the end of this equation. And the most negative means that it's having the biggest loss. So there's less fat left than you started. So you want to get into the negatives here, right? And no matter what you do, it doesn't matter what you're doing that helps to burn fat loss or use fat. You have to look at fat storage as well. And how's fat storage influenced? I'll talk to you that in a minute. Let's talk about nutrition first. So nutrition, they did some studies. They looked at what influences fat burning and fat loss. And they looked at high fat, low carb diets. High fat, low carb diets. Think leading up to keto in terms of that, right? So with high fat, low carb diets, there's a significant increase in fat burning. And also what's happening is it's adjusting your body's preference for fuel source. So your body likes to use fat more. But coincidentally, your body also stores more fat. Because it likes using more fat for fuel source, it also likes storing it for later. So it's a double-edged sword. Yes, high-fat, low-carb diets tend to help you burn more fat, but they also help you to store more fat. If you look at the low-fat, high-carb diets, there's a significant decrease in fat burning. There's also a significant decrease in fat storage. But again, that doesn't say that you're going to lose fat. Your body has a preference for a fuel source because of the two different diets. But in the end, the determining factor for whether you're losing fat or gaining fat is, you guessed it, energy balance. Getting in a calorie deficit is the only way to make sure that the end of that equation is negative. And how do you do that? You want to make sure less overall energy is coming in. You want to maximize the fat burn, and then you're going to be able to get more into the negatives, and your body's going to get rid of body fat from your body. So it actually doesn't matter that a certain type of food or a certain type of activity has a preference for fat, like cardio, like high fat, low carb. It's about energy balance in the end. You need to be in a calorie deficit. So that's why the first and the most important thing to do is get in a calorie deficit. The rest is just details.